I don't have any jokes, but I'm Bullwinkle. I've got my hands by the side of my head.
Thanks for clarifying.
I'm a moose.
Oh boy.
Ranger Joe.
Yeah.
Ranger Joe.
Jim Henson had a show for...
He's the Joeest Joe I know. Ranger Joe.
Cut it out.
I don't know what his catchphrases are. His catchphrases are just pirated catchphrases from other characters.
His catchphrase is doing that thing where you sing like you're singing into a microphone and then you move
And
your
then you
hand
move it
away
away.
and you make your voice go quiet and then you bring it back and you go loud again.
Yeah,
Ask your Netflix provider if Fuller House is right for you. It's probably not.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you.
well, it's another beautiful day in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
It's nighttime in our neighborhood and cold.
Yeah. It's going to be that way for a while, I'm afraid.
Yep.
Mr. Rogers has a pig.
Mr. Rogers has a stuffed pig.
And you have a stuffed nose.
Yep, that's my life. But my nose still looks like a nose, and his pig
Doesn't really
looks
look
like an aardvark.
It's, I mean, he says it was made by someone who didn't know how to make a pig.
Which is an apt description.
Yeah, it looks like if you saw it in a museum, you'd be like, oh, maybe this is what the original piglet from Winnie the Pooh looked like. Because it looks so dissimilar from a pig that it couldn't possibly...
It looks old-fashioned. It's so wrong.
Yes, it looks like before we knew what pigs looked like.
Yeah, or at least what toys looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
before
no.
we were able to travel the world or use the internet to tell each other how to make...
Exactly,
a
yeah.
pig.
When everybody had to just wing it on their own. Which it turns out is what the maker of this pig did, was just sort of wing it on her own.
Yeah. So let's, I guess, head over to Adelia Moore's house.
Yeah.
And check out her sewing
And
room.
Yeah. And return her pig. I have in my notes that this part of the episode accurately simulates a pretty boring trip to your parents' friend's house.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. We look at some of the stuff that she has made.
I mean, we pan over across the diorama.
Okay, sure.
And it shows this house, and then we cut to Mr. Rogers entering the house, and it's a completely different house.
I mean, yeah, that happens.
I guess it's just never been more clear than in this situation.
Yeah, it's not a real diorama of the neighborhood.
No, I know, but Mr. Rogers' house kind of looks like Mr. Rogers' house. And some of the things could
Yeah,
be
because
passed by.
Mr. Rogers' house is a fake house built on a set.
Yeah, I know. It's just that they I don't know. I feel like they should have just panned over to a clump of houses instead of zooming in on one in particular that we know for a fact doesn't look like the house we're visiting.
I suppose. So, I don't know. She's made a kangaroo.
Yeah, lots of like Winnie the Pooh animals.
Yeah,
A kangaroo, a rabbit, a tall rabbit.
Yeah. Which do you think looks the most like good?
Ooh, I don't know. None of them look.
I thought the kangaroo seemed alright.
Yeah, the kangaroo was okay. It was like a bright blue kangaroo, so I don't know if you could really get a good look at it because it was dark.
Yeah, that almost gives it. The rabbit's alright.
Rabbit has kind of a janky face.
Yeah, I'm hoping the face isn't done on the rabbit.
I think it is.
Probably. She's pretty good with quilts, though.
Yeah, she has a sewing room, so presumably this is not... Like, she says she doesn't know how to make a pig, but she does know how to sew.
Yeah, it turns out
purportedly.
what she didn't know how to make was specifically a pig.
Uh-huh. She does do quilting.
She fancies herself anyway.
I would say she is an amateur, but she's adequate. Her skill is fine.
Yeah, I guess she is better than I am, at least on a technical level.
Better, certainly better than any of us are.
Yeah.
I would say not as good as our own mother.
No.
is.
No, our mother
As
knows...
I'm looking at the pug puppet that I commissioned her to build, and it's a lot better than the pig toy that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, our mother knows that when you're making a stuffed animal, you sew it together inside out and then flip it.
well, so does.
That's how you get the hidden stitches.
Yeah. So does this lady.
Oh yeah, just not
Because
on the
just not on the pig. I don't
in
know.
all the
Maybe the pig
places.
was her first one that started it all.
Maybe.
And now she's gotten better.
Maybe so. Yeah, I don't have a lot of notes. I didn't enjoy this segment. It was boring.
Let me see.
I didn't like it.
Oh, they're holding the pig and looking at it, and they're discussing that it was just made from like a white sheet.
was
and
it a white?
It was a white sheet, and they painted it pink.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, "Oh boy," Mr. Rogers says, "I guess you'd never probably come across another pig that looks like this." And then she says, "Yeah, when you make stuff yourself, they tend to turn out ... in a sort of special way." And it was one of those moments where you like speak the truth, realize you're on Mr. Rogers, have to be less sarcastic, and then adjust your sentence. They tend to turn out in a sort of special way.
She's got a real old sewing machine.
I didn't notice that.
No, it's like I think it's hand pedaled and stuff. I don't know what the state of the art is for sewing machines, but this felt old.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there were newer sewing machines by this episode.
What year are we in? I forgot to check that. We know that her
I
son,
think we're still in the 70s.
her son Finnegan, was learning words in 1970 something, 1977. So we must be early 80s.
Oh, I have a better fact for you.
All right.
What Finnegan and what's the other game?
Finian
Finian
and Carrick, I think.
Finian and Carrick.
Uh-huh.
As Mr. Rogers is leaving this house, he walks past their mailbox and sign. I couldn't quite make out their house address, but I could make out their full last name.
Uh-huh.
And Finian, let me tell you what he's up to now.
What?
He is studying.
Oh, you looked these
Yeah.
people up.
He is studying, I think, Asian cultures.
Okay.
He's got a real interest in sort of like the Buddhism and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh. This you looked up Finian, not Finnegan.
At Harvard.
Right?
Yeah, I think I wasn't sure if he was faculty or just a recent graduate. And Carrick,
Okay.
here's a tip. Carrick, whatever his last name is an actor with like 3 IMDb credits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers' mailbox.
Yeah. So you can look for him in Lovelace, which is a movie about a porn star.
Uh-huh.
One of the American Pie movies.
Mm-hmm.
And some movie that has a rather crude phrase alluded to it in the way its title is formatted.
I mean, you try to raise your kids right. You make them stuffed rabbits. You make them
Look,
quilts
Hollywood's
of
hard.
their favorite words.
Hollywood's
but...
hard. You do what you can. I also found his Facebook page. He's got a dog.
Huh.
Yeah.
So his love of animals is still strong.
Yeah. And that was about when I was like, I feel weird about this now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Join us next time for another exciting round of...
Andrew researches the children of people who have been on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
And back to our regular scheduled
Program.
To
make a spinner, that's sort of fun.
Yeah, they put a button in the middle of a thread. They spin the thread around and then they pull it apart and it becomes like an elastic.
I've seen one of these, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so we all know what we're talking about.
Mr. Rogers, like, you don't really appreciate what's going on. Like, it's definitely something you have to be there doing it yourself to appreciate.
Yeah.
I feel. But he's sitting there doing this, and he's like, boy, you could do this for a long time. He's come to the edge of the hole and is appreciating for the first time how deep this hole of button thread spinner could be.
Yeah. But he can't. He's got to go home.
No, it's true.
So home he goes.
Yeah, so I guess let's go back to Mr. Rogers' house.
So we go back to Mster Rogers' house.
And we watch a very...
He's got a video to show us.
Very strange picture.
I had to go back because I sort of missed it, and then I wasn't sure I wasn't having a fever dream or a stroke.
It was a weird picture.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers shows us a video of a birthday for a 100-year-old doll.
Yes, a doll that is 100 years old.
Yeah.
I believe someone who is probably older than 100 years old, maybe a bit younger. I don't know.
Could be a bit younger. Might have been,
It might have been a hand-me-down doll.
yeah. The doll's named Cindy.
I thought they called it Susie one time.
Did you have Cindy? Okay, you had Cindy too.
I also have
Cindy and or Susie.
Cindy is having a birthday. There are many people of all ages from this family attending the birthday.
Yeah, one hopes from this family.
They made a cake with what looks to be 100
A
candles.
lot of candles.
Just a bonfire
Yeah.
at the top of this cake.
Cindy or Susie wishes for ice cream.
Yeah, the elderly lady who presumably is the owner of this 100-year-old doll says, "I'll make the wish for her behalf," and so she blows out the candles on her cake, and apparently
it comes true.
What comes true?
Well, I don't know. The wish was for ice cream.
I thought it was like kind of like a joke, like the kind of joke that a 90-year-old or 110-year-old
maybe.
I'm assuming that there's a 10-year difference between the
one way or the other.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
The woman and the doll. I thought it was kind of a joke where it's like, oh, I have this big cake. My wish is, I wish I had ice cream instead of a cake.
Maybe. I don't know. This lady scares me a little bit because she's having a birthday for her old doll. We hear from, I guess, one of her daughters about their time growing up. Their daughter recalls a Christmas, I think it was.
Yeah, Christmas where all the dolls
They came downstairs.
Refurbished.
All the dolls had new dresses. And Cindy, their mother's doll, was sitting in the middle.
And they called her the Queen of the Dolls.
Yeah. Yeah. So this mother, real into this doll, has decided it's the queen of the doll. It was the queen of all her dolls when she was growing up. And by gum, it's going to be the queen of her daughter's dolls.
You are my children. You will not.
Come hell or
you will
high
not
water.
surpass me, and your dolls will not surpass my dolls.
You will not surpass my dolls. We're going to have a 100th birthday party for this doll. You guys, whatever. I may be reading some sinister levels into this, but I don't think so. You didn't see the footage I saw of a birthday party for a 100-year-old doll.
After this woman passes away, this doll is going to continue to exert her authority over this family.
Yeah, this doll
as
is the
queen
true
of the
matriarch.
dolls. So that's kind of where the video ends.
Yeah. We continue round 2 of our uncomfortable visit to a friend of your parents. This just has vacation you don't want to be taking as a child written all over it.
This just has people that Mr. Rogers knows personally being worked into the script all over it.
Yeah, it's boy. I didn't
Mr.
care for the
Mr.
first
Rogers
half of this
remarks, a birthday for a doll. That's kind of a simple treat that you can do for yourself.
Yeah, I guess. It's a good way to get ice cream.
Would you ever have a birthday for a doll? And then he says, "Well, let's make believe
go to the land of make believe
that one of those characters is having a birthday."
But yeah, we're having a birthday for a doll isn't so weird.
And Lady Aberlin will be making a doll for that birthday.
Yeah. Well, let's hop on the trolley.
Let's hop on the trolley indeed. Mr. Rogers, I've noticed, he's done this more than once. But he calls in the trolley and he says, "All right, Charlie, I want you to take us to the land of make believe." He explains what's going to be happening, and he says, "All right, so there you go, Charlie. Neighborhood of make believe. Neighborhood of make believe." Next scene. So here we are in the land of make believe.
Here we are in the land of make believe.
It's Lady Aberlin and Henrietta and X the Owl just kind of hanging out by the tree.
Yeah.
Henrietta Pussycat is playing with a blob of cotton,
which she calls a cloud, which is being called a cloud.
Yeah.
She probably calls it a meow, but Lady Aberlin calls
cloud
it a cloud.
Meow.
Yeah. Meow, meow.
Lady Aberlin has cotton here because she is working on a doll for Anna Platypus, whose birthday is fast approaching.
I initially thought, oh, that's a real tiny doll, but then I realized, oh, it's for Anna Platypus.
If I were to guess, I would say that her birthday is probably 4 or 5 days away.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably this Friday.
Yeah, it probably... A lot of things happen on Friday in the land of make-believe. X the Owl pops out halfway through and he's like, "Oh, you got cotton. Well, why don't you fill up my empty pillowcase, which I've just been sleeping on the floor of my tree with?"
Yeah, I mean, owls aren't supposed to sleep lying down anyway.
No, they usually stand up and like hunt for mice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, first of all, they sleep during the day. And second of all, they sleep perched on a branch, I assume.
But he's got a hollow in a tree, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do you, X the owl.
I bet they still don't lay down. They're probably just sort of like, owls are cool.
They sort of like what?
They're sort of like Andrew mimes an owl sleeping in his shoulders.
Yeah, I see. Okay, that explains it. So Lady Aberlin stuffs his pillow, and she hands it back to him, and she says, "Oh, is this fluffy enough for you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I think that." And then he just like throws it back at her.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a throw stuff and make Lady Aberlin catch it.
Some real nutty business going on here. She's like,
I don't know if it was necessarily in the script or if Mr. Rogers was just.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. Lady Aberlin at one point suggests stuffing Henrietta's cloud into the pillow, which Henrietta does not like at all.
Oh yeah, no, she wants.
She's upset with that, which fair enough.
And
then Lady Aberlin stuffs the pillow a bit more, hands it to Henrietta
instead of X the Owl.
Then to X the Owl. Sort of Henrietta hands it to X the Owl, but they can't reach. So X the Owl goes away with his pillow. Lady Aberlin says, "Happy pillow."
As the old farewell. Happy pillow. Happy pillow to you.
Yeah, that is that feels 100% like a joke you or I would have told when we were like 7.
Yeah, maybe, or like 27. It's whatever.
Yeah, but like when we were 27, it would have been like
ironic,
a parody of what we would have said when we were 7.
As is everything on this podcast.
Yes, true enough. Yeah, Bob Dog really creeps up all silent, like from behind the tree.
Yeah, and presumably to surprise Lady Aberlin.
Yeah. This is, I think, our longest concentrated look at Bob Dog.
Yeah, we haven't...
he seems kind of creepy, and I don't think I care for him.
No, I mean, he's an upright dog that's the size of a human.
Yeah. And
10 times the size of some of the humans in the land of make-believe.
And just real stupid.
Yeah, he's like...
He's either very dumb or very bad at hearing. No, he's dumb, too.
All right, well, that's the official Please Won't You Be My Podcast stance. Bob Dog, bad character. You heard it here first.
He's dumb.
He fell off a ladder last week. I looked up the clip. It was great.
Yeah, he really fell off that ladder.
He did indeed.
But this week, he misidentifies this pretty good likeness of Anna Platypus in doll form as a duck.
I mean, Anna Platypus does look like a duck.
Anna Platypus does look like a duck, but he looks at this and says, "Oh, it's a duck," and then Lady Aberlin says, "No, this is a doll. It's for Anne Platypus."
Well, she says, "I'll give you a hint," and then she hums a song, and I'm like, do all these characters have theme songs that I haven't noticed?
I mean, they do if they have real long, crazy names like Anne Platypus does.
Oh, maybe there's a whole song about her.
Yeah, they sort of hum a bar of it.
Well, I didn't know if that was what the song was.
She hums it, and then she like sings faintly what I assume to be the Latin name for platypus.
Okay.
Which is Anne Platypus's given name.
I'm thinking about stuffing a platypus, and in high school, in home ec class...
You did?
I did. I don't remember how to sew a thing, but I did, at least in part, sew a stuffed platypus.
You did. I remember that.
I used a pattern, but it still came out a lot better than...
That's true.
Any of the animals.
And you are, if you will pardon my saying so, largely incompetent in that arena.
Yes. Yeah. Bob Dog kind of imposes himself on Lady Aberlin and is like, "Oh, why don't you make me a stuffed animal?" All right, well, I'll leave you to it, but you are making that for me. You agreed to it.
Yeah, that's a decent representation. Yeah, the stuffed dog will be Bob Dog because everybody has dolls of themselves in the land of make believe. Apparently,
look on my shelf, Andrew.
Yeah, touche.
For you podcast neighbors at home,
I'm gonna say,
have a stuffed likeness of myself made by my sister.
I don't have a stuffed likeness of myself because apparently I'm the only sane human being left on this planet.
You heard it here first, folks.
Bob Dog heads over to
Lady Elaine Fairchild.
Lady Elaine Fairchild is sewing buttons onto or into a hat.
Yeah, kind of a strange activity, but it's clear that Lady Elaine is back on her meds.
Yeah, Lady Elaine is real community-minded this week.
Unsettlingly level-headed this
Yeah.
week.
She is unselfish and friendly and
A normal adult.
generous. Yeah, she's
not my Lady Elaine.
yeah. I mean, there's still a bit of that. It's still Lady Elaine, but she's
Definitely toned down.
but she's making a present for
She has to be
Platypus'
toned down,
birthday.
or else the plot will become about her.
yeah, exactly. She's taking the week off is basically what's happening.
She's got, quote, buttons galore.
She does have buttons galore. Everyone in its place. She's putting buttons onto a hat for Anne Platypus.
Bob Dog approaches and says, "Hey there, Lady Elaine," and she says, "Oh, hey there, Bobby Doggy."
Yeah, Bobby Doggy's real good. She asks him what he thinks of his chapeau.
Chapeau, right? And
Yeah.
he thinks shampoo.
Yeah, and says, "Oh yeah, your hair looks great," which is kind of a lie.
Yeah, she's got kind of a.
She's
She's
got
got
a
a
mushroom
mushroom cut. She's got a mushroom cut that's been sitting in a box for a few years.
Yeah,
She sings a song, like a song about give me a hat and I'll give you a beauty if your wardrobe needs a zip.
yeah. In a very sort of Lady Elaine Fairchild move, although she is making this hat for Anne Platypus for her birthday, she does say, "I thought her wardrobe needed a bit of zip,"
Yes.
which is
The reason I'm giving her this present in particular is because I don't think she has very good fashion.
yeah, or thinks it could be a bit more
Zippy.
Lady Elaine Fairchild.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still Lady Elaine.
Yeah, she's still
I mean, that's the thing. Medication doesn't change you. It's not like that episode of Monk.
this is our second week in a row referencing an episode of Monk.
Yeah, we're going for the streak.
All right.
Lady Elaine also in an uncharacteristic bout of unselfishness, lauds Daniel Tiger's
Yeah,
proposed present.
she seems to suggest that it might be better than her own.
Yeah,
Button
she
hat.
says, "Oh boy, you should see what Daniel Tiger's making for her."
But what Daniel Tiger is making is definitely more what I would expect Lady Elaine Fairchild to be
Yeah.
attempting.
yeah, and does deserve props because he's going to make it a magic electric supersonic firemobile.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if this is inspired by the electric plane car. And Daniel Tiger's like, vehicles with adjectives, that's where it's at.
Yeah,
Let's make
yeah.
a magic electric
Do you think we will ever?
supersonic firemobile.
What are the odds? What's the over/under that we go to a fire station at some point before this week's over?
Oh, I mean, I would be able to guess this better if I knew whether we have been there before. But if we
Yeah.
haven't been to a fire hall yet, it's happening this week.
Yeah, yeah. So as to sort of reverse inspire this
Yes.
gift, Daniel Tiger shows Bob Dog the blueprints for the magic electric supersonic firemobile.
He says there's 22 components.
22 component. I thought it was 22 compartments,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and it is
Compartments.
mostly controlled with lasers and stuff like that.
Yep. True.
So this is some state of the art stuff.
hmm
Fundamentally, it looks like a somewhat fancy fast fire truck.
It looks like if a fire truck and a parade float had a baby.
Yeah, and also like
Lasers.
a George Jetson car.
Yeah, exactly.
So Bob Dog is duly impressed, and they are very nice blueprints.
He's not good at drawing at all, as we saw last week. It's like scribbling with crayons, but you give him like drafting tools, and he has a perfect magic electric supersonic firemobile
Magically, yes, magic like supersonic firemobile.
drafted to perfection.
Yeah. Bob Dog is duly impressed. He speculates that one must have to go to some fancy school to learn how to make all that.
But no, just the land of someplace else school, because Daniel Tiger hasn't gone to any such.
Well, Daniel Tiger does say he doesn't know how he's going to make it.
right,
But he's going to try.
He's not clear. I was reminded of my friend in grade
He's going to
1
wing it.
who wanted to build an entire fort out of candy wrappers. He
Right.
figured he eats enough candy that if he just actually hangs on to all the wrappers long enough,
He'll be able to build a
he'll
fort.
have enough to build a structure to contain himself. I think he had like 10 wrappers when he was describing this plan to me.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
I suppose he's probably living high and dry in a mighty wrapper castle now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Tiger ahead of the game because he's just going over to Lady Elaine's to ask for some wood.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently that's what magic electric supersonic firemobiles are made out of.
I mean, it's a firemobile, so you need to stoke that fire.
Right, yeah. I mean, at the very least, it is closer to what they are made out of than Forts are candy wrappers.
Hey, I mean, if it is supposed to be a fire engine, I don't imagine you really want to make a fire engine out of flammable materials like wood.
There's a long history of fire engines being made out of wood.
Is there?
Yeah, when they were like horse-drawn at the very least, and probably for a while after they were engine-drawn.
I don't know that fire engines were made of wood any longer than, like, as soon as other vehicles stopped being wood, the fire engines were...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But...
It's not specific to fire engines. This is just when vehicles were made of wood, fire engines were also made. I don't think they were called fire engines back when it was a horse-drawn carriage, because where's the engine?
Is the pumping. I don't know. We'll look up the etymology of fire engine later and not share it with you. You'll have to look it up yourself.
Yeah, do your own work,
Yeah.
you lazy ogres.
I like Edem Online for that stuff.
He doesn't want any help from, like, Corny, who has experience with this sort of
he was
thing.
almost certainly capable. I bet by the end of the week he needs some help. Although...
Maybe Corny's not the best person. Maybe he should talk to neighbor Aber, who works at Air and Land Vehicle.
Yeah, and who recently imagined up a rainbow.
That's true. I can't imagine that.
There's really no reason why Daniel Tiger shouldn't be able to make this fire engine. All he has to do is imagine it up.
But can you imagine all of the 22 compartments at once?
I mean, it is a lot to hold in your mind at once. Maybe he could imagine them individually and then
assemble it.
Yeah, with like an Allen key.
He has drafted an impressive blueprint.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he has already
imagined it. Yeah, it's not like a half-imagined dream.
So I don't know. We'll check in, I'm sure, throughout the week on Daniel Tiger's progress.
But for now,
his struggles.
We're going to visit.
And somehow it'll all tie into pets, which is what this week is apparently about.
Yeah. I mean, we had a pet toy animal. There was pigs and kangaroos.
Maybe. I think it's probably going to tie in with our last little bit of the Land of Make Believe.
With Elsie Jean Platypus.
Elsie Jean Platypus, who is Anna Platypus's mother. We haven't met her before.
And
she's sad. Dr.
Bill Platypus's
a voice twin.
Yeah,
what's Dr. Platypus's position in the family?
Is he the husband, the father? Is he the grandpa?
I hope he's the grandpa.
He does seem quite a bit older than Elsie Jean.
Otherwise he's robbing the cradle with this Elsie Jean.
I mean, we don't know how old they are. She's kind of concerned because she doesn't know what to give her daughter Anna Platypus for her birthday.
Yeah, she stresses that she thinks about it all year, just like parents all do.
Mm-hmm.
But she hasn't come up with anything. Lady Aberlin says, well, why don't you ask her what she wants? Which is sensible advice. And after some dilly-dallying, Elsie Jean takes it. She is worried that she won't be able to get her what Anna Platypus asks for.
Uh-huh.
Though again, last week somebody imagined up a rainbow. So, seems eminently doable, whatever it is.
I mean, what resource does it take mana to imagine things? Or?
I guess. But still, you save that up for the birthday.
Or do you squander it along the way?
Mm.
All right, moving on.
Moving
on to Mr. Rogers' Land of Reality neighborhood.
Crowley goes on by.
We mumbled some vaguely plot-related, non-scripted lines to the trolley.
Yeah.
What are you going to get Anna Platypus for her birthday?
I don't even know Anna Platypus.
Anna Platypus is probably dead by now. I don't know what the lifespan of a platypus is, but this was the 70s, so I think we're off the hook.
It's the lifespan of a puppet, though.
Well, here we are in the land of Mr. Rogers' Reality Town.
Mr. Rogers' living room.
Yeah, all those things.
Mr. Rogers basically just does a bit of managing of gift expectations for the end of the episode.
He's like, you should tell your parents what you want.
But you might not get it for a variety of excellent reasons.
Too expensive, A. B, if it's going to hurt you like a gorilla, bad.
Or a rifle.
Rifle, gorilla, guillotine.
Yeah. All the hits.
But there are many ways to say I love you.
Yeah. And your parents do love you, we promise, even if you didn't get what you want for your birthday. It kind of almost feels like Mr. Rogers is trying to give himself an out. Like maybe he really screwed up a birthday this week.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers sings a song and kind of pitches us his prototype for his own version of love languages, which is the many ways to say I love you. For instance, let me outline it.
All right, yeah.
The feeding way is the first one.
Yeah.
The feeding
Number
way.
one, the feeding way. Way to a man's heart through his stomach.
Through
Classic.
The feeding way.
Feeding way.
I've also got the cleaning way.
Cleaning way. Way to a man's heart is through cleanliness.
The hanging up your clothes way.
Really kind of a subset of the
Cleaning, yeah.
Cleaning way.
The drawing way.
All right.
Specifically, drawing things for special events.
We're out of domesticity. We're into posters, basically.
And finally, we land on, and this seems rooted in Mr. Rogers' belief that everyone on a regular basis plays in musicals and operas. The playmaking way. Making a play for someone.
You know, sometimes you gotta maybe you do a parade in your basement.
So, those are the 5 love ways.
Once again,
Mr. Rogers.
feeding, cleaning, hanging things up, drawing things, making a play. All the hits.
Do you have any more notes? Because I don't.
No, you have more notes than I did. I ran out a while ago.
Oh.
I didn't love this episode.
Yeah, no, I definitely wish we were looking at Hisher Boop Trunk.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some potential this week.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how this Magic Electric Supersonic Firemobile comes along.
Yeah, that's definitely the highlight for me, too, is the Magic Electric Supersonic Firemobile.
Yeah, I'm excited for several days of hemming and hawing when Elsie Jean Platypus discovers that what Anne really wants is a pet of some sort.
Right.
I bet.
I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is maybe too wacky for Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Right. I think the Platypus family is going to adopt Bob Dog.
Oh, my goodness.
They will accept ownership of this intellectually not superior, but equivalent creature. He might get a collar. It's maybe too specific of a prediction, but if I nail it, I'm going to feel so good.
And if not, you can always watch the episodes ahead and edit it out. We won't, though.
Nope. These stay in.
These stay in.
We do that for you.
Yeah.
We do this all for you.
The viewer.
We do this all for ourselves because we know nobody is out there.
No. Dangerous thinking. Keep it This is the playmaking way, Steven. This is our way to say we love you. Aww.
Be sure to check out the Tumblr. Please let you be my.tumblr.com.
Oh, the fun stuff you'll see there.
You'll see pictures of different amateur plush toys.
Yeah. All of them upsetting in their own special way.
You will see a diagram of a
Magic Electric Supersonic Firemobile.
Thank you.
It's like you didn't write it down or anything.
And it's just on the other side of my page. Yeah. And many other fine things.
Many other ways to say, I love you.
Our theme song
was provided by
someone with the songwriting love way.
Right, yeah.
Copyright Mr. Rogers.
Gotcha.
Dan Brisbane.
Danny Brizzy. That was sort of my Bobby Doggy.
Oh, Bobby Doggy. Yeah. I did actually put that together.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And
I realized it was unpleasant on the mouth and on the ears.
It certainly was. How about you try out Rindale, our trolley transition tune maker?
His name's only one word.
Rizzy Dizzy.
Rizzy Dizzy. Rindy Diney. Rindy Dizzy.
Ryan and Dash.
Bobby Doggy. It's already got assonance built right in there. And a near rhyme.
In any case, we will be back when the week is new.
And we will have more ideas for who? You. Me?
Yeah. I mean,
good.
I know you'll have things that you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, I'll have things I want to talk about.
I also will have things that I would like to talk about. And so we'll do that.
All right. The podcasting way.
So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you please won't you please, please, won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please, won't you please, please, won't you be my podcast?
Because I'm sure there's no other pig in the world like that.
No, I don't think so. That's when you make things, they tend to turn out
Well, he's
in
happy
a sort
to
of a
be
special
home.
way.